Okay, so we will start. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another live session for the series How to Get a Professional Job in Australia. And in this live session, which is number 138, yes, you heard very well. For the last 138 weeks, I am here every week talking about a subject related to the engineering qualification validation in Australia and also about other subjects. For example, how to get a professional job in Australia. And this is the theme tonight. And tonight I will be talking about, are you considered to be overqualified? Overseas engineers, they usually have more than just one degree, or you may have one degree, but you may have then other post-graduation courses, master's degrees, even PhDs. And this can be a little bit of an issue when you're trying to get a job, especially an entry-level job in an overseas country. Obviously, here in Australia, it's not different. But first, for those that don't know me, my name is Gerson Ida, and I'm the founder of the website www.engineersinaustralia.com, a website to share content of value and useful information to help you in your journey to validate your engineering qualification in Australia. And I also share information about other subjects like workplace health and safety, environmental management, day-to-day of engineering in Australia, and about a professional engineering recruitment. And if you haven't joined my Telegram group yet, you can use the link that I'm going to paste in the comments. What is Telegram? Telegram is like WhatsApp. It's a messaging app where I send posts, audios, videos, and the PDFs of these live sessions when obviously you guys meet some criteria. So I'm just going to paste in YouTube. Um, join our Telegram group, and the name of the group is Engineering. I can't spell engineering qualification validation, and we've got almost 800 members, so it's a big community. And you can just click on the link. Obviously, you need to download the app first, Telegram app, and then you can join the group. It's free. You don't need to pay anything. See if I can paste in Facebook as well. So it's there. All right, so we'll start with the content. So it's very common to hear that such a candidate didn't succeed in the job interview because maybe he or she was considered to be overqualified. And I'm a Brazilian engineer, and mainly for us Brazilian engineers, at least in my time, we used to finish our degree at university and then straight away perhaps enrolling to do a master's degree or a graduate certificate or a graduate diploma, which is a specialization courses. And some of us finished the master's degree and then enrolled straight to a PhD program, for example. I haven't, but I've got a master's and I've got few specialization courses as well. So perhaps I could be considered to be overqualified because not just I have my degree, but many other education qualifications as well. And it's not a problem when you are applying for higher level positions. But because we are overseas engineers, and a lot of you, probably like myself, started to as an international student and you wanted just to enter in the market, and you are applying for probably entry-level jobs. And when you're applying for entry-level jobs with that many levels or that many number of qualifications, that can be an issue, and that can be then when you're considered to be overqualified. So what does it mean to be overqualified? In a simple statement, is to have more qualifications than necessary. Simple as that. And I don't know how many of you already applied for jobs, not just applying for jobs, but actually downloaded the position description or the role description, and then have a look at the mandatory qualifications. Some jobs, they don't even have mandatory qualifications. Other jobs, like engineers, they probably have as mandatory qualifications your bachelor degree in engineering. But then, if that is mandatory, and then you have a master's degree and you have other specialization courses, you then have more qualifications than necessary. But a person would think, well, if the mandatory qualification is a bachelor degree, and I have more than that, I have a master's degree, I have 2 or 3 specialization courses, even a PhD. Wouldn't this be going to be very interesting to the company? Because I've got more knowledge, I've got probably more experience, I could be performing much better than the ones that just have the bachelor degree. One would think that that could be a natural thinking, that having more degrees and or more specialization would bring more value to the company. But sometimes the recruiters and employers, they don't think that. They think slightly different, and I will cover this tonight. But then you could be thinking, who are you, Gerson, that can talk about overqualified or recruiting people that are overqualified? Some of you may know, others may not, but I am working as professional engineer here in Australia since 2000 and probably, well, can say 2008. So it's been already almost 14 years that I'm working as a professional engineer. And in these 14 years, I have recruited already dozens and dozens of engineers and project managers. And I have analyzed hundreds of applications, if not thousands, not thousands, but close to 1,000 applications. And I can see a lot of the applicants, especially for those ones that applied for graduate engineers or very low level project manager or engineer level, that they had lots of degrees, sometimes 2 or 3, but many other qualifications like specializations and master degree. And some of them were not very suitable. The panel didn't find them as suitable for the position. Sorry. So when we get to Australia, we find ourselves in a situation where we have succeeded in winning all the stages prior to the interview. So I'm going to talk about, you applied for a job, you submitted your CV, you submitted your cover letter, your written application was successful. So it means that you got a call from the recruiter or from the company saying that you have been shortlisted. Or sometimes you don't even get to that. You applied for the job and you submitted everything. You think that you had a very good application, but you didn't get even to the interview. Overqualified people, sometimes they do get to the interview, but then they don't get a job. But majority of overqualified or considered to be overqualified candidates, they don't even get to an interview. And then you think, oh, why didn't I get the interview? I have a good resume, I've got good qualifications, I've got good experiences, and I didn't even get an interview. When this happens to you, perhaps the panel thought that you are overqualified. And this is very frustrating because you know that you could perform the role very, very well with your extra qualities and be a great asset to the company. After all, having, as I said, more qualifications than the job needs would not be a bad thing, would it? But why employers do not like overqualified professionals? And there are a few reasons why employers they don't like overqualified professionals. And if you think that you are considered to be an overqualified engineer, some of the reasons they could be. One, the first reason, companies they think that they cannot pay according to your expectation. Even when you are, let's say that you had a very good job back in your home country, and then you come to Australia because you know that you don't have an Australian experience, you then obviously try to apply to lower jobs. And obviously, when you're applying for lower jobs, you are willing to accept a smaller pay offer than you probably deserve because you want to have the experience of working in the Australian market, and employers will think that because of your extra qualification and experience, the salary expectation is going to be higher than the company can offer to you. So that could be one reason that they cannot afford for that position, they cannot afford to pay you. Another reason why is that sometimes the companies, employers, or even the recruitment agencies, they probably think that you didn't understand what the work really is. Employers will think that in your journey to get a job, you're very optimistic with the function to be recruited. You may be thinking that you will be performing, for example, engineering management duties, when in fact the function is to be a project engineer or a project manager assistant. So, reason number two could be that, as I said, that you didn't understand that the job is very simple. So, employers and recruitment companies, they think that you didn't understand. Therefore, they don't shortlist you or they don't assess you as successful. Um, the third reason, it could be that companies, recruiters, employers, they could be thinking that if you are hired, let's say that you go to the interview and then the company is happy with you and then they hire you to that lower level position. But some companies, they think that if you are hired, you will be very bored, full blown even. So they're going to think that because you have lots of skills and competencies and qualifications, and the job that you're applying for is very low level, well below what you could be performing, that's what they're going to think. So, for example, and I'm talking about myself, I have worked in senior positions in functions in my home country, Brazil. I worked as a manager, I worked as a director, executive positions, etc. And this is going to be, well, this was in my CV. And employers, they probably thought in the beginning that because I was used to work in higher level positions, when I was applying for lower level positions, then maybe I was going to be not very happy doing a low level position. And therefore, they considered to be overqualified and wasn't successful in the beginning. So that could be happening as well. So when companies, employers, recruitment agencies, they think that you are not going to be happy doing a low level position, and therefore they don't give the opportunity to a job interview, or they don't even give the job to you. So I'm going to just show you the PDF of this document. I prepared a PDF that I'm going to show you. Yeah, it's now here. So session 138. Are you considered to be overqualified? And the information that I'm talking to you guys, it's in this document here. We have more qualifications than necessary. That's what we talk about. So that's the definition about overqualified. And then the reasons why companies, they believe you could be overqualified. So if you want to get hold of this PDF, it's very simple. As I said, I spent a lot of time preparing for this live session and obviously delivering the live session. What I would like you to do, I would like you to go to my Instagram post, my last Instagram post, which is this one, is the picture of this live session. That's my last Instagram post. I just would like you to like the post, and then write in the comments. How can I write here in the comments? Yeah, just write in. I will write in the comments. Write in the comments the hashtag I will get a job. So hashtag I will get a job. That's a positive statement. So because I know that you can get a job and you will get a job. Not easy, but needs a little bit of practice, needs a little bit of confidence, and obviously some information that I hope I can help you with that. So if you go to my Instagram post and then write in the comments, I will get a job, and like the post. If I have engagements, I will prepare this document as a PDF, and then I will post in the Telegram group. So you need to be part of the Telegram group yet. And also I'm going to give you a password. The PDF will be protected by a password. So you guys that are here in the live session, I will obviously reward you, and I will give you the password towards the end of this live session. Okay, I'll go back to my notes. So number 4, why companies, employers, yeah, the fourth reason why companies, employers, and recruitment agencies may think that you are overqualified. Perhaps they will think that you're not going to be happy to have to work for a boss or a supervisor with less experience and qualification than you. And that could be the case. Let's say that you apply for a junior engineer in whatever field, civil or mechanical or production, whatever. And then your boss is not even an engineer. Sometimes your boss could be a project manager, sometimes your boss could be a manager that hasn't got a qualification as an engineer. And you could be an engineer. You could be an engineer with a master's degree. So if you have more experience and qualification than who is hiring you, usually the supervisor or your manager or your future boss is going to be in the panel. So this person will be probably worried that you might not be comfortable receiving instructions from that person, and that you know better than her or him. So, and if this person is not quite sure of their own competencies, they will think that you too can doubt the decisions they make, which may lead them not to select you as their chosen candidate. So, and that could be very common. It could be that, especially because in Australia, I believe that it's about between 10 and 15% of the population, they have a bachelor degree. They have a university degree. So it's not a lot of people that they have a university degree. So the chances that your boss does not have a university degree can be quite high. And then your boss or future boss could think, I'm hiring this person's fully qualified and lots of qualifications. Perhaps I'm not going to be comfortable, so they consider you to be overqualified. The fifth, the fifth reason why people or companies and employers perhaps they're going to think that you're overqualified, that because you're applying for a low-level position, you will move on, leaving the company as soon as something better appears. So employers usually don't understand why people would subject themselves to a lower position when they would be able, because of the qualification and experience, to get a much higher level position. What they don't understand sometimes is that as an overseas candidates, sometimes we need to start lower and then we can progress in the career because um, we are new to the country, we don't really have the Australian experience, and getting a higher level position is going to be very difficult in the beginning. When I started my journey trying to find a job as an engineer in Australia, I had a very high position in Brazil. And when I started to apply for jobs, actually started to apply for higher level positions. But because I didn't have Australian experience, um, I wasn't even getting phone calls. So I decided to apply a few levels lower. And yeah, luckily, I adapted my cover letter in my resume and I put the things that I needed to do in my documentation. So I managed to get interviews and obviously I got my job. So, but some companies they believe that you they're going to hire you, and then as soon as something better happens with higher pay and so on, you will then apply to other jobs, and they don't want to do that because recruiting somebody takes time, takes money. Somebody will be training you, and then after the training, if you move on, then they have to do all the process again. So perhaps because they think that you are overqualified and you are not willing to stay in that position longer, then they don't take the risk and they don't actually put you in the interview, or you're not a successful candidate. So let's say that you are considered to be overqualified. What do you need to do when you hear or when you think that you are going to be considered to be overqualified? So the best thing is to understand the side of the employer and deal with them face to face. You can do that by explaining why you are genuinely interested in the job. You could be applying for a manager job, but you're applying for a lower job. Why are you applying for a lower job? And usually the explanation is that, I am a newcomer in Australia. I don't have an Australian experience. And if I get a less complex job, it will help myself to better understand the Australian system and that the goal is to grow with the company. So if you're really thinking that, that's a very good idea to either talk in the interview or perhaps put in your cover letter. With regards to salary expectation, you can openly say that you are aware that the salary for that job is lower than expected and that you are okay with it. Let's say that as a manager, you would be earning, let's say, $100,000 a year. But because you're applying for a junior engineer, the salary is going to be around 70,000. So they need to make sure that they understand that you know that the salary is 70,000 and you're happy with it. Because when they think that you are overqualified, they still believe that your expectation is 100,000 and they're just willing to pay, let's say, 70,000. So if they know that your expectation is 70,000, then there's not a lot of issues because they know already that you know the seller expectation is lower and you're happy with that. And how do you say that? Preferably would be good if you can explain in the cover letter, because if it's not clear to the panel of recruiters, you run the risk of being cut off in the initial shortlisting phase, even before the interview. So if you think, oh, I'm going to tell them during the interview that my salary expectation is not 100, but it's 70, if you wait for that, you may not even have the chance to say that because you could be cut before the interview. But if you're called for the interview, it's also a good idea to reinforce that. Even if you put in your cover letter during the interview, it's very important that you reinforce and be prepared to explain all over again, probably in a little bit more details. In general, the idea is to understand what the concerns the employers will have about overqualified and face these concerns head to head, genuinely and proactively. Every time that I was in panels and I faced a potential overqualified person, if the explanation was in the cover letter and if I could see that there was some reason behind it, um, obviously, if that person was meeting all the criteria, we could advance that person to the interview phase. But sometimes candidates, they don't really put that information in the cover letter, and you start making assumptions. And because a recruitment process costs a lot of money, sometimes it can cost up to $25,000, $30,000. You don't want somebody that's just going to use the job that you are offering just as a stepping stone to kind of a move within the company or within the industry in higher levels, in not staying in your area, because then you will have to recruit everything again. Uh, so, yeah, just conscious of time. So I think that that information can help you if you are considered to be overqualified. It's important that you, one, understand that you could be considered to be overqualified and you face those concerns that employers and recruitment companies have face to face and make it very clear that you are aware of the conditions and you're happy with that. All right. So the password of this PDF. So for those people that are here, the password is going to be 13. So not the numbers, but in the written format. So 13. I'm just going to, because it's today's date, I'm just going to probably paste in there. So those ones that they know, they are here. They know what 13 means. And if you have any questions, more than happy for you to include in the comments. And then I can reply to you. But the password for the PDF is going to be 13. And how do you get the PDF? you need to go to my last post in Instagram, which is this one here, and then write in the comments the hashtag I will get a job. So, and like the post. So if you like the post and write in the comments the hashtag I will get a job, if I have engagements, I will produce this PDF here. I'm going to show you how the PDF is taking shape. I'm going to produce from the Word document to PDF all of this information that I spoke to you guys tonight. And I will send in the Telegram group the PDF protected with the password being 13. All right. And I'd like to remind you guys that I'm promoting my free online workshop. And the name of the workshop is I Want to Become an Engineer in Australia. It's going to be 100% free, 100% online. And it's going to start on the 6th of March. So next month, I'm going to start my workshop. And in 1 week, I will teach you everything that you need to know to start your application for your engineering qualification validation here in Australia. So you can become an engineer then in Australia and start finding a job and increasing your chances to get a job as an engineer. So if you haven't registered yet, you can go to the link that I'm pasting in the comments. And you just need to put your name and your email address and submit your registration. Simple as that. And just make sure that you will get a confirmation email. Just check your email inbox. If you don't receive the email confirmation, it's a good idea to check your junk mail box because it could be in the junk mail box. And then it's a good idea to save my email and my name. So when I send information about the workshop closer to the event, you're not going to miss it. All right. So I'm just going to check if there is any question there. No, doesn't look like there's any question in Facebook. No questions in YouTube. And I think that there's no question in Instagram. All right. No, it's all good. So I would like to thank you guys very much for your participation. Next Sunday, 8:30 p.m., I would like to see you guys again, where I'm going to talk about a subject related to the engineering qualification validation here in Australia. 8:30 p.m. in Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.